Well, what do you do when you lose your son, daughter-in-law and unborn grandchild to youth violence and you feel like no one is listening, no one cares? If you're Russell Field, you run for Parliament so you can help change things from the inside.
He didn't just kill her, he killed the 4 of us with her.
Enough is enough!
I think she said something about, "Where's Mummy?" And I'm like, "We need to talk." And they just broke down.
They used their loss to drive change for others.
We want change!
Time and time again, victims of crime are left by the wayside.
These are the faces of Queensland's crime crisis. Victor White's wife, Vilene, stabbed and killed at her local shopping centre. Lee Lovell's wife, Emma, killed at their own home. And Russell Field's son, Matt, partner Kate, and his unborn grandson, Miles, all dying while out walking, hit in a stolen car crash. United in grief, People Power saw the Voice for Victims march on Parliament and change a government.
Tonight, Queenslanders voted for David Crisafulli!
Tonight, Queenslanders have voted for hope over fear.
David Crisafulli hails from the cane fields of North Queensland, and now he's the nation's newest leader.
Tonight was the turning corner of the youth crime crisis.
It's an enemy colour in Queensland, but after a decade of Labor leadership, the sunny state has turned blue. The grandson of Sicilian migrants, David Crisafulli, is proud of his past and laser focused on the future.
Premier David Crisafulli, how does that sound?
Sounds like we've got a lot of work to do, Reece.
He had campaigned on 4 key issues: youth crime, health, cost of living and housing. But one above all others resonated with voters. In a 9 News poll, the writing was on the wall.
That's more than half of voters saying crime was the biggest influence on their vote. And from that, who do you trust to fix the crime crisis? Let's light that result up now. David Crisafulli.
For those hurting the most, their voice is now louder than ever.
We didn't want Matt, Kate and Miles' death to be in vain, and something good has to come out of it.
Russell Field, a grieving father, now politician.
People said to me early in the piece, what are you doing this for? And I said to them, because it's the right thing to do.
What Russell Field has been the face of change, what he went through and the way that he has used the loss of his son and daughter-in-law and unborn grandson to drive change, pretty special.
People like Lee Lovell, Victor White, do you feel pressure now to deliver for them?
Their stories moved me, but I reckon they moved another 5.5 million Queenslanders as well.
Victor White should have been celebrating 50 years married to Vilene.
And instead of sitting and grieving, as he could have well done, he chose to stand and be counted. And it was him who said to me, adult crime, adult time, the first time. And we built some sentencing rules around one man who had experienced so much loss.
In Townsville, one of the hardest hit by crime, victims there say they had no choice but to act.
The offenders were youth criminals that hit quite a few different houses in the street.
Jacinta and Jai are locals. Their home was broken into and robbed by armed juveniles while Jacinta was giving birth. They've now turned their back on Labor.
A lot of our possessions that I needed were gone. And we were struggling to afford to replace that stuff that we needed to raise a little girl. We weren't sleeping at all. I refused to be at home alone.
How will you fix that problem?
It starts with stronger laws, and this is not an if or a but or a maybe a day two. By the end of the year, we're going to have what's called the Making Queensland Safer laws in this state.
A warning shot from Queensland to Canberra. Voter sentiment is changing, and the Labor Party will be watching closely months out from a federal election.
We're trusting you to keep us safe.
What would you like to say to them?
We won't let you down.
That's a big promise. You'll be guaranteed Queenslanders will hold you to it.